Good morning, everyone. This is Chris on Around the ATL Side Notes. It is April 20th, 2025. I know some are going to be indisposed because it is a holiday weekend. I understand. But this is the only time I'd be able to do this particular episode. So here I am. First and foremost, thanks for those who have been supporting over the years. I appreciate that. But if you've never watched Around the ATL before, make sure you subscribe to the IMTM Worldwide Radio YouTube channel. It's scrolling right there on the bottom there. Just go to YouTube and plug that in. You can also follow on Facebook and Instagram, IMTN Worldwide Radio. And you can also follow myself and my co-host Jordan Jackson on Twitter, IMTN Radio, and Jordan23 ATL. Really appreciate that. So this morning is going to be a little bit different. Well, first of all, I'm doing a game review, which I haven't done in a while. My mom just let me know she made it to her destination in Conyers, Georgia. She texted me. I haven't done a game review in a while, mostly because my schedule has been way out of whack. I started the 2024 season, then couldn't do for months. Then I filled in a couple of games, then no more again. But what I'm going to do is, starting with the Dallas game that I'm doing this morning, I'm going to finish the season from Dallas all the way through to the Miami Heat game from Friday night. However, because I kept seeing so many different posts, I had to add a little bit last minute this morning. So to explain, the posts that I saw were all geared. Let me give you context first. I didn't get to see the Miami Heat game on Friday. I was indisposed. I didn't get to hear it on the radio. I guess we were on a blackout in the area that I live. So I was only able to check the box score once in a while. If it was just that, all the posts from the next morning would make you believe that it was one person's fault alone that the Hawks lost that game against the Miami Heat. But that's not true, is it? See, if you saw the highlights, I saw a lot of highlights, and I see these highlights, two-way Trey, and I see the box score, and I see, well, dang, Trey had like 29-11. And then I see, well, Trey was 4 of 6 in the fourth quarter and hit the shot that got the game into overtime for the Hawks. And then in overtime, Trey was 2 for 2 in the overtime. So I'm like, well, what is it then? And then I see the low light, I guess, of Trey letting Mitchell hit that three. But then I was like, well, wait a minute. I checked the box score again. And I'm like, the Heat scored 17 points in overtime. So how is that three the reason that they lost the game? When there were 17, did Trey Young give up all 17 points in overtime? So, of course, because I do game reviews, I had to go back and check. And that's what I'm going to do this morning, okay? Because, I was only able to look at the box score from time to time during Friday night's game. And I'm looking at Zach, our rookie, go 1 from 11 from the floor, 0 of 7 from 3. He had 3 points in the game. I saw Mo G with 3 points in the game in his 15 minutes. 44 minutes played, Dyson had 11 points. That's 3 of your 5 starters, 17 points combined, basically, right? Man had 5 points the entire game. Vitt didn't even score. Yang was 1 of 5 in the fourth quarter, 0 of 2 from 3. None of that mattered. That's what people are trying to convince me, right? I just thought that was strange. So this morning, what I'm going to do, adding to my Dallas review, is we're going to talk about overtime, okay? But before I start that, I want to talk about game reviews and why I even started doing them in the first place. And again, thanks for watching Around the ATL. You can always listen to Around the ATL on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Odyssey, Spreaker, TuneIn, Audible. All you got to do is go to those platforms and type in Around the ATL. It'll pop up. But make sure you subscribe to the IMTM Worldwide Radio YouTube page that's scrolling across your screen there. I really would appreciate that, especially if you like my review. For years, I've been doing game reviews. I would usually do them right after the game. I would go on Twitter. I would post. I would go on Facebook fan pages. I would post. Sometimes I would include them in an episode of Around the ATL. And I would bring up these 4 reasons that the Hawks usually lost a game. Points in the paint given up, second chance points given up, fast break points given up, and 3-pointers given up. Why do I concentrate on those? Because those are all team fields there. No one player can be responsible for 68 points given up in the paint. Primarily, that's your bigs, right? Team rebounding, but primarily your bigs have a job there. Second chance points, that's everybody blocking out and staying with your assignment throughout possession, right? Fast break points, stopping ball, calling out assignments, right? 3-pointers given up. No one player can give up 23 3-pointers in a game, like the Hawks like to do sometimes. One player can give up 6 or 7, maybe even 8, but not 23. So when I started doing past that, I said, well, let's actually do a full game review using game footage. Because if you don't like to read, maybe you like video better to show, well, let's find out how the Hawks really lost this game. Did one player and one player alone lose this game? Let's find out. Because you can't change what happened in the game, can you? By the way, there has never been a time in NBA history where one player and one player alone lost or won a game. Sure, you got players who hit game winners, but still, though, what led up to that game winner being a possibility of a game winner? Was it just that one player and one player alone? Michael Jordan didn't win 6 championships by himself. Did he? I watched a lot of basketball, and there was not one time I saw Michael Jordan versus 5 players. Because basketball is 5-on-5. Michael Jordan had Steve Kerr hitting shots, and John Paxson and Craig Hodges, and Scott Williams and Cliff Levinson getting rebounds and blocking shots and falling on the floor all the time, and Luke Longley and Will Purdue, and Bill Cartwright getting rebounds and hitting shots from time to time. And of course, he had Scottie Pippen and Dennis Rodman and Horace Grant and B.J. Armstrong and on and on and on and on and on. Kobe never won any of his championships by himself. Hakeem Olajuwon didn't win his 2 by himself. It's never happened. And no one player has ever lost by themselves either. When the Dallas Mavericks beat the Miami Heat with LeBron James on that team, LeBron wasn't the only player out there. He had Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh in their primes out there too. And Dirk didn't win that championship on his own, did he? He had Jason Kidd and Jason Terry out there and a whole bunch of other players out there too. So that's why I started doing game reviews, because we needed to see the whole kit and caboodle, so to speak. Because to continue to have this hatred for Trae Young all these years, day after day, every second, every millisecond of the day, all you can say is hateful, ugly, terrible things about a man who just wants to win here in Atlanta. All the time? He's bad all the time. First of all, what's your definition of bad? Trae Young is not giving us Mike Bibby numbers, 10 points, 3 assists a game, Jeff Teague numbers, Tony Delk numbers, Kirk Heinrich numbers. He's not doing. His worst season in the NBA was 19-8. You'd have an argument if he was giving us Mike Bibby numbers. But again, Trae Young is not the worst defender on our team. He's not the one giving up all the points every game. I'm going to show you that in this Dallas review. Again, it's not all negative all the time. It just can't be. If Trae Young is giving you 28 and 12, that's a lot of positive there. First of all, that's a lot of points he's responsible for that he's produced on your team. Where's everybody else's contributions? That has to be asked and answered, doesn't it? Or does it not matter in basketball playing 5-on-5, which is why I like to bring up, has anybody played basketball before? I don't get that part. But that's also why I added something to my review, points left on the floor from missed shots generated by Trae Young. Because if he has 12 assists, but we have all these misses, remember, Trae Young, since he's been in the league, has been 6th or higher in the NBA in potential assists per game. That means he passes you the ball or you don't hit the shot. Missed dunks, missed layups, missed 2s, missed 3s. The Atlanta Hawks leave 25 to 40 points a game just on shots generated from Trae Young. And how do you as a man say, oh, you shouldn't have passed me the ball. You knew I was going to miss the shot. Why are you passing it? Is that your explanation to that? Is Trae Young's fault for making the decision to pass the ball to a teammate who's wide freaking open because of something that he actually did on the court, a decision he made? That's crazy. Agree or disagree? I want to hear it, because that right there is the crux of my whole argument about this whole situation. Our organization can't figure out how to get players that can finish inside in the paint all the time and stop missing bunnies. Can't hit a consistent shot from the outside. If that's supposed to be the offense, we need better shooters then, don't we? Who are consistent, like they're consistent, like DeMar DeRozan is consistent, or Zach LaVine is consistent. He's shooting 50% from the field as a shooting guard. And again, this is not to lay blame on all the other players, because all of them have skill sets that are valuable to the team. Sometimes you need more. If you have this player who's a primary defender, you need somebody who's a primary scorer, a bucket getter every night, not just 1 out of every 5 nights. I need to say all of that to let you know where this is about to go, because it's important. Now, as I mentioned to this morning, I should say, I'm doing a game review, Dallas versus the Atlanta Hawks from April 2nd. A game we really needed, and we lost that game by 2 points. But before that, we're going to go into this Miami Heat game right now. So because I did this last minute, I did not have time to write the notes for this Miami Heat overtime, but we're going to wing it a little bit. So first of all, in overtime, let's see. First of all, in this game, did Trae Young have 10 points and 2 assists in this game? Yes or no? Did Trae Young get the game into overtime? Yes or no? Did Trae Young score or not score in overtime? Yes or no? How many starters for the Atlanta Hawks scored more than 11 points in the game? Answer that. Okay, so let's answer those questions. Trae Young had 29-11 in this game. No, he didn't shoot the best, but he still had 29-11. Nobody says that about other players out there. They don't say that about Melo. They don't say that about Ant-Man. Wherever he comes at the end of the game, that's what counts, right? Not just for Trae Young, though, right? Trae was 4-6 in the fourth quarter, including 2 or 3 from 3, and hit the shot to get the game into overtime. Trae had 5 points in overtime with 2 or 2 from the floor. Okongwu had the other bucket, a 3-pointer. That was it for the Hawks. They had 8 points in that quarter. Nobody else scored. I think that's a little bit more of an issue, but we'll come to that. Again, Zach had 3 points in the game. 1 of 11 from the floor, 0 of 7 from 3. You don't think that's important? You don't think that's a factor at all for the team even getting to overtime? You don't think that's a problem? Mohamed Gay having 3 points in 15 minutes, 2 of your frontline players having 6 points combined, that's not a problem. Dyson, 44 minutes, had 11 points, that's not a problem. Niang, 1 of 5 in the fourth, 0 of 2 from 3, that's not a problem. Man, 5 points. Vitt didn't score. None of those things are issues to anybody? That's strange. Nobody on this team drives to the basket to get fouled. The Atlanta Hawks had 12 total free throws in this game. Trae had 8 of those. He missed one. He was 7 for 8. All of these are facts that nobody says anything about. I think that's interesting. I should have got some water because I'm parched here. Anyway. The Atlanta Hawks, okay, so in overtime, the Miami Heat scored 17 points. Did Trae Young give up all 17 points? Yes or no? And again, these are questions I want you to answer, either out loud or on the page or wherever you're watching this from, or when this goes on to Spotify, iHeartRadio, whatever. Answer these questions out loud. Did Trae Young give up all 17 points in overtime? We're going to find out. But here's the deal. If you say he didn't, then what's the discussion for? The game wasn't lost in overtime. I just showed you that. Just from showing you what the rest of the team did for the Atlanta Hawks. Hero had 10 points in the second quarter and 9 in the fourth quarter. Anybody discuss that? Who gave those points up? We gave up 17 second chance points in this game, 14 fast break points. We gave up 16 threes. Tyler had 5 of those. That's a problem, don't you think? But if you say yes, how are you saying yes? Explain it. Because you have to give an explanation for saying that. That Trae Young gave up all 17 points in overtime. So let's go over it. The first shot made in overtime was by Tyler Hero, by the way. Okay? What if he doesn't hit that three? Would it have mattered? I don't know. Since they scored 17 other points, but it would have been 14 points in overtime if he didn't hit this shot. But let's watch this shot and see who gave it up. Let's see if it's Trae Young. Okay, here we go.
Mitchell using the Adebayo screen. Kicks it out. Highsmith for Hero. Bottom. It's a three.
Now you see that. I'm going to replay it. But I want you to look where Dyson Daniels started and where Dyson Daniels ended, and you tell me how Trae Young was involved in this.
Mitchell using the Adebayo screen. Kicks it out. Highsmith for Hero. Bottom. It's a three.
Now, one of the things I've always talked about in my game reviews is that the Atlanta Hawks don't know how to switch. We don't know how to rotate, and we don't talk on defense to do any of those things. So to leave your man, it puts the team in jeopardy because we don't know how to do those things I just mentioned. So you should never leave your man. There is not a reason to do it. And for whatever reason, Dyson Daniels decided to leave the best shooter on the Miami Heat alone and hope that people would rotate. Let me play it one more time for you. Watch Dyson Daniels.
Mitchell using the Adebayo screen. Kicks it out. Highsmith for Hero. Bottom. It's a three.
The moment that Dyson turned his back to his man, it was over. Trae was on his man. Trae played defense on his man. Anyway, the second shot given up in overtime. Okay? It was another three. This time it was on Mitchell. Now, let me explain something. Here's one of the reasons why I talk about the Hawks don't have a big man coach. Because both Okongwu and Clint never play pick and roll correctly. They never switch. They never come up off the pick. They never come up on the defender. They always lag behind and leave people wide, doggone open for no reason. This is basketball. See, I, as a big, can never get away with this. You either fight through the screen, or if you get picked, you got to pick up the man that's open. It doesn't matter the situation. You got to come up, especially as a big on a guard, because guess what? You can get your 7-foot wingspan arm up and make it a little bit more difficult. But if you're way back in the paint guarding nobody, then what's the point? Because now the person who got picked now has to try to do a double job and try to come up on that shooter, which never works because that's the whole point of a pick, to create space. And Okongwu gives up this three on Tyler Hero simply because he went backwards instead of coming up. Let me show you.
Davion Mitchell, formerly of the Sacramento Kings and Toronto Raptors, lines it up. He hits a three.
That's on Okongwu. Okongwu can't get mad at nobody but himself. Let me show you again.
Davion Mitchell, formerly of the Sacramento Kings and Toronto Raptors, lines it up. He hits a three.
That's pure coaching. That's coaching one-on-one. Your man gets picked, and it's a guard especially, you're big, your man, you got to come up. You got to come up. And our bigs never do that. They do exactly what I just showed you. That's another three, by the way. The third three hit in overtime, this one is by Mitchell. Guess who's on him? It's not Trae Young. It's Dyson Daniels. Dyson is playing off Mitchell again. For some reason, he's playing off a man. Not again, but this time it's on Mitchell. He's playing off him. Hero isn't doing anything spectacular. And he just simply passes the ball to Mitchell. And because Dyson was laying off of him, he hits a three. This is the third three hit in overtime.
to the big Okongwu. 7 to shoot. Hero. Mitchell. Again! Davion Mitchell is lethal!
So explain to me why Dyson left his man open. What have I been saying on all my game reviews for the last 2 seasons? If we just simply stay with our man through our possession, stay with your guy. It doesn't matter what's happening around you. If you lock your man up, that's one person who can't score. That's how I play defense. I don't care what happens around everybody else. My job is to make sure my man doesn't score that game. If I do that, I've done my job. Everything else is pitter patter. My man can't score. Dyson just let that man score. I'm going to play it to you again.
To the big Okongwu. 7 to shoot. Hero. Mitchell. Again! Davion Mitchell is lethal!
And see what I was saying about Hero? Hero wasn't doing nothing spectacular. Okongwu was right there. Why was Dyson playing off him? Unless you're going to actually double team him, you can't just be standing in limbo. The reason the Hawks are so bad on defense from time to time is because people create mismatches, create faults in the holes of your defense because they won't stay with their man. That's a third 3 hit in overtime. Trey didn't have nothing to do with those 3. Nothing. The next field goal hit was by Wiggins. And he pulled the ball out and then drove all the way to the bucket on Okongwu. And Wiggins hits a floater. This is the 11th point scored in OT, and Trey isn't involved in any of these. Watch this shot.
Here's Wiggins, picked up by Okongwu. 8 to shoot. Wiggins wants to dance. The floater is good. Miami pulling away from Atlanta.
Now, whose fault is that? Is it Trae Young? Who was guarding Wiggins? Okongwu is on Wiggins. Okongwu is on Wiggins. Let's play it again. I'm going to play all these twice at least. Watch now.
Here's Wiggins, picked up by Okongwu. 8 to shoot. Wiggins wants to dance. The floater is good. Miami pulling away from Atlanta.
Now, I'm about to show you another 3, the 4th 3 hit in overtime now. Okay? This also was hit by Tyler Hero. Who was guarding him? Was it Trae Young? No, it wasn't. Who was it? Dyson Daniels again. And guess what? Dyson Daniels again left his man and left Hero a wide open 4-3. Now again, it's not about fault. It's about what actually happened in the game. If you're going to blame Trae Young, let's blame him for stuff that he did actually participate in, not for what he didn't. Because this is the 4th 3 in the game given up by someone not named Trae Young, but only Trae Young's name is being thrown out there and thrown under the bus as if he lost the whole game on his own. Again, what did I say earlier? Zach was 1 of 11 from the floor. Muhammad Gay had 3 points. Dyson had 11 points in 44 minutes. Man only had 5. Vitt didn't score at all. Niang was 1 of 5 in the 4th quarter. You don't think none of that mattered. But just Trey in the overtime, giving up that 3, that lost the whole entire game. Hogwash. Here's the 4th 3 given up in overtime by the Atlanta Hawks. Watch this.
So many momentum changes.
117 to 114. Miami. Hero. On target. Both teams making big-time shots.
Dyson left Tyler Hero. Play it again.
So many momentum changes.
117 to 114. Miami. Hero. On target. Both teams making big-time shots.
Dyson wasn't even looking at Tyler. Wasn't even paying attention to him. If he had just stayed on his man, that was his assignment. And see, I've only done the overtime period as far as review. I haven't gone through the whole entire game yet. Stay with your man, and good things can happen. Now, we've done all of that. 14 points have been scored in overtime now. And Trae Young wasn't the one who gave up those 14 points. But now I'm gonna show you the 1 3-pointer he did give up. Here we go.
To crush the Hawks. Hero ball fake. Shot clock winding down. Mitchell, jumper. Oh, yeah!
Now, let's check that final score, the score before that. Let's play it again. I have a point to make. 2 points.
To crush the Hawks. Hero ball fake. Shot clock winding down. Mitchell, jumper. Oh, yeah!
It was 120 to 114. So that wasn't the 3 that beat the Hawks. See, again, if you didn't watch the game and you just saw all these posts over and over again all over the internet and everything, it made Trae out to be the one who lost the game right there with the 3-pointer given up with his bad defense. That was bad. That was poor. It was bad. Wasn't as bad as the other 14 points, though, given up. Are we kidding? Are we kidding ourselves right here? And this is going into the hatred of Trae Young because, again, you got people who hate Trae Young so much that they ignore all those other things that I mentioned at the beginning of this video and point to that 3-pointer given up and say that's the reason you lost the game. It's just not true. I showed it to you. Trae Young didn't give up the previous 14 points. And guess what? Even if you want to give him that 3 that I said that Okongwu gave up, because he did give that up, that's still just 6 of those 17 points that Trae Young gave up. Not all 17. And Trae Young had 29-11. On the minimum side of things, let's get a calculator out real quick. Let me text my mom back real quick. Even if, let's see, what was I about to do? Trae Young generated at minimum 51 points in this game. Now, again, I haven't done a whole game review to see who gave up what points, but unless Trae Young gave up 40 points in this game, which would be absurd, I don't think any player has done that. Most players only give up about 30 points in a game at most. But even if Trae gave up 30 points in this game, he still generated 51. But y'all know Trae Young didn't give up 30 points in this game. Y'all know that. Y'all actually do know that, right? Because Tyler Hero had 30 in this game, and Trae wasn't on Tyler Hero in this game. Y'all know that. But Trae Young did give up that 1-3. That 1-3 he did give up. It wasn't a crushing 3, though. It wasn't a 3 to give him the lead or anything. The Heat already had the lead there. There's only 2 players on the Hawks that scored at all in overtime. That's a little bit more of an issue. Isn't it? You see how weird people are out here? So, again, can you explain that? Basketball is basketball at the end of the day, right? Everybody has a job to do. Shooting, rebounding, free throws, block shots, steals, blocking out, taking a charge, scoring on a regular basis. And unfortunately, the Hawks have less players that have the capability of doing that on a regular basis than other teams, and that's the difference. The depth is the difference. You got other teams who just have more people than the Hawks do to do those things all the time, rather than once every 5 games. That's not enough. Trae Young is a 25-10 career player. You know how many 25-10 career players are as point guards in NBA history? Let's check one. Let me check one thing real quick before I say this answer. Before I say it, I want to make sure it's true or not. Not even Russell Westbrook. Not even Russell Westbrook. There are no 25 and 10 career point guards in the NBA. There's only one. It's Trae Young. Magic Johnson never did it. CP3 never did it. Steve Nash never did it. John Stockton never did it. There's only one. It's Trae Young. Russell Westbrook is a career 21 and 8 player. You'd have an argument if Trae Young again was giving us 12 points and 3 assists a game. Now you have an argument because he's not contributing enough to wins at all. He's not helping you at all at that point. But he's not doing that. He's giving you 25 and 10 every game or more. And he's giving you more because people ain't hitting shots. I'm sorry, that's just a fact. 21 potential assists a game, leading the league in that category. He's led the league the last 2 seasons in that category per who's been on the rosters the last 2 years, and he still averages 10 or more assists a game anyway and keeps passing you the ball. Zach had 7 3-point attempts missed in this game, guys. And again, I haven't done a full game review on the Miami Heat, but I will. And we're going to see how many potential assists Trae Young had in this game. That's a lot more of an issue than that 1 3-pointer he did indeed give up. You didn't see me say, no, he didn't give it up. You didn't hear me say, oh, that wasn't bad either. It was bad defense. Trae Young wasn't the reason they lost that game against the Miami Heat. It just wasn't. It just wasn't. To say otherwise, you're crazy. You just hate. That's hatred. That's not basketball. There's a big difference. Now, let's get into the Dallas Mavericks game on April 2nd. Here we go. Now, as I said before, the reason I started doing game reviews is to show who's actually the reason we lose these games. So again, as I mentioned before, I break down shot for shot how the other team scored against us. Okay. So what I do is I show who the 2 best scorers on the opposing team was, sometimes 3. Then points in the paint given up, second chance points, fast break points, 3-pointers given up. Okay. Then I list what the Atlanta Hawks did as a whole, player for player. And then I show what they did, fast break points, second chance points, points in the paint, 3-pointers made, stuff like that. And then, again, the thing I added, first of all, how many points did we leave on the floor from shots created by Trae Young? Because, again, if you're going to blame Trae Young for everything, let's really try to blame him for everything. So you're going to blame him for other people missing shots? Well, that's what we're going to start off with right off the jump in this Dallas Maverick game. So, against the Dallas Mavericks, let me go ahead and break that down first. Their top 3 scorers in that April 2nd game was Anthony Davis. Who's guarding him? I don't know. 34 points, 15 boards, 5 blocks. Klay Thompson had 17, 5 of 9 from 3. Who was guarding him? I don't know. Dinwiddie had 14. Dallas had 48 points in the paint, which for the Hawks isn't that bad. They only had 6 second chance points given up, which is tremendous. But they did give up 20 fast break points. And Dallas hit 15 threes in the game. Okay? Now for the Atlanta Hawks, Zach was 4 of 11 from the floor for 9 points. Gabe was 5 of 13 from the floor for 11 points. So again, for those who want to blame this loss on Trae Young, you don't think those 2 score facts of production were an issue at all? You don't think that was an issue? That's interesting. Okongwu was 7 of 15 from the floor, 20 points, 14 boards, 2 steals, 2 blocks, had a great game. Dyson was 7 of 12, 17 points. Trae was 8 for 20 for 25 points, 12 assists. He generated 50 points from the floor. Bitt was 4 of 5 for 11 points. Barlow 0 for 1 for 0. Levert 4 of 10 for 14. Mann 1 of 4 for 5. And Niang 2 of 6 for 6. The Hawks had 42 points in the paint, 8 second chance points, and 13 fast break points. The Hawks hit 15 threes. The Hawks lost this game by 2 points. I repeat, the Atlanta Hawks lost the Dallas game April 2nd by 2 points. We needed that game. So did Trae Young lose this game? Because now I gotta say it like that. Did Trae Young and Trae Young alone lose this game by 2 points because of something he did? And you're sure Zach going 4 of 11 and Gay going 5 for 13 didn't have nothing to do with that? Are you sure? Anthony Davis having 34 points in the game and never getting double teamed. You sure that didn't have nothing to do with it? Let's get into shots. The Atlanta Hawks missed a lot of shots in this game. Okay. We're going to show you. Now, usually I only show like one per quarter. I'm showing you multiple shots this time around. First quarter, there's only, oh, by the way, again, this part of the review is shots generated by Trae Young and shots missed. Okay. So Trae passes you the ball and you don't hit. How many times does that happen in a game? And how are you blaming that on Trae Young? I have to say these things out loud. How are you blaming the player? How is the player blaming Trae Young for he himself missing that shot? Again, have you played basketball? Have you literally said, hey, man, that's your fault for passing me the ball. You knew I couldn't hit that shot. Because that's the mentality you have to blame somebody else for you missing your shot. You got to say this stuff out loud, folks. The first quarter, Trae Young only had one pass that he had that resulted in a missed field goal. Here it is.
Early in this one.
That whole chicken and the egg thing. You get him involved. Is he focused because he's involved?
Now, I'm going to play this for a second time.
Early in this one.
That whole chicken and the egg thing. You get him involved. Is he focused because he's involved?
Now, why is that Trae Young's fault? Explain it to me. I want someone to respond and say, why is that Trae Young's fault that Mo G missed that three-pointer? He was wide open. That's first quarter. Second quarter, there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 passes by Trae Young to players. All of these are misses. 13 points. First of all, that first quarter shot by Mo Gay was a three-pointer. We lost his game by 2. He hits that shot, maybe we win by 1, right? But this second quarter, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shots missed for a total of 13 points. And y'all don't think this is going to be an issue? So let me show you the first shot.
But yeah, we got something cooking up for y'all for sure.
I look forward to it. Yeah, we look forward to seeing what you got.
Let me show you another shot.
Played more games than any of them at 539 as of tonight.
And
he said, I love that. He said, I love it.
And let me show you another shot.
Bidding for his 4th double-double in the last 9 games. Trae Young around Ty Jones, left his feet, found Dyson Daniels, and way short on the three-pointer.
Way short. It was an air ball. Trae Young got 2 people on him. Dyson curls up to the 3 appropriately and misses with an air ball. Another 3-point shot. 3-point shot missed. That was one of 3 threes missed in the second quarter alone. All shots generated by Trae Young. 13 points. In the first half, we left 16 points on the board from shots generated by Trae Young, and y'all blame Trae Young on the loss. We had the lead, by the way, 72-67. Did y'all see that? At halftime. And we lost by 2 points. Let's go to the third quarter. Here is one of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shots again, generated by Trae Young. All misses. I'm going to play almost all of them in this case. So here are all the shots in the third quarter generated by Trae that were misses. And you, again, tell me how this is Trae's fault. Explain it to me. Say it out loud. Say it with your chest how this is on Trae.
72 points tonight for Atlanta. That's the most the Mavericks have allowed at home in the first half this year. Ricochet, there's a whistle, but now it's Lively coming away with the rebound. No foul.
By the way, that was another air ball. And did you see the not put back as well? Because AD is there, obviously. Here's another shot.
Looked like there was a little confusion, but now the Mavericks getting matched up defensively with Dinwiddie picking up Young. Left free for three is Mohamed Gay.
AD respects Moji none at all.
And again, they trap Trey in the backcourt. Up to Dominic Barlow. Barlow will shoot the runner. It's no good. Ball's out of bounds, and it's off Barlow.
We still had the lead by 2. We lost by 2. Ricochet missed a 3. Gay missed a 3. Gay missed a 3. Gay missed a wide open jumper. Barlow misses that layup. 13 more points. I didn't show all the videos, but 13 more points in the third quarter alone. But it's Trey's fault. Fourth quarter. Here we go. This is this is where you should get really upset, but y'all not. Some of y'all will not do it. And this is why some don't want to watch my reviews, because they know what they're going to see. Fourth quarter.
Well executed out of bounds play leads to the fourth. Klay Thompson 3. Oh, and finally.
Got to keep the floor spaced properly.
1 and 2 on the line for Derek Lively. Mohamed Gay way off on a 3, but a lost rebound by Marshall.
Klay ducked under the defense that time to pulling one out.
A rolling Okongwu got caught between 2 minds. Real-time turnover, the 15th of the game for Dallas. This is for the lead. LeVert, no good.
This is for the lead. So you saw Vic, Gay, Okongwu, and LeVert miss open shots. That's another 11 points, and that's the fourth quarter. How is that Trey's fault? So let's add it up. 15 passes, 40 points on the board. Excuse me. Let me say it again. 15 passes in a game Trey had 12 assists in. He could have had 27 assists in this game. Well, Chris, they're not going to hit all shots, but they need to hit more than what they did, don't you think? Don't you think that's a problem? Don't you think that's a problem to miss all those wide open shots? And this is not even counting all the shots in general that were just missed point blank, wide open when Trey is not on the floor. Because Trey's not on the floor the whole game, is he? Trey is not passing you the ball all the time, but Trey kept passing the ball to everybody, and they're missing shots. And y'all don't think that's a problem while we lose a game by 2 points? You don't think that's important? You don't think that's more of a cause than anything that Trey might have done on this floor? But we're going to get into that starting now. 40. Let me repeat that, though. The Atlanta Hawks left 40 points on the floor from 15 passes from Trae Young in this game. 11 in the fourth, 16 in the second, 13 in the third. Y'all don't think that's a problem? Get out of here. So let's get into the game itself. First quarter, guess who hits the first shot of the game? And it's Trae Young guarding this player. I'm going to just play it, and then I'm going to talk about it. I got to find it first. Here we go.
24 points per game this year. And the crazy thing about it is, as Davis shoots and hits a corner 3.
We lost the game by 2 points. What if Okongwu just did, something strange, like stay with this man? Let me play it again for you.
24 points per game this year. And the crazy thing about it is, as Davis shoots and hits a corner 3.
Do I need to play it again one more time? We lost this game by 2 points. AD hits the first shot of the game for the Dallas Mavericks. It's a 3 because Okongwu won't stay with his man. Let me play it one more time.
24 points per game this year. And the crazy thing about it is, as Davis shoots and hits a corner 3.
And the worst part about it, he actually put his foot in the paint before he decided to go and stick his man. That's why I'm talking about coaching. We don't have a big man coach and we don't have a defensive coach on our bench because that should not be happening, and it happens every game. By the way, how's that Trey's fault? Who's guarding Anthony Davis? Is Trae Young guarding Anthony Davis? I want someone to answer these questions. Because if you're going to blame Trae Young, blame him. But prove it, though. Second shot. Now, Trae, this is on Trae. Trae with a bad turnover on the fast break. You only got he and Dyson back. There's a 3-on-2. Trae stayed in the middle. Nobody was on Clay. He hits the 3. But inevitably, this is on Trae because of the turnover.
I think that's the first time we've seen him take a corner 3 in his handful of games with Dallas, and then Davis makes a defensive play with the free safety interception at the other end of the floor. AD hit from there, Clay hits him there.
And let me say this real quick before I get started. He was trying to get the ball to Mo G because he's trying to get the ball to his players. You're going to have that when you have a player who wants to pass the ball all the time. You're going to have turnovers. Unless the other team is scoring 20, 25 points off of turnovers, those turnovers ain't really hurting you. Unless they're scoring 28, 25. If they score 6, 7, 8 points off of turnovers and he's generating 50, I'm sorry, 50 is more than 8, people. That's not why you're losing any of these games. We don't want to see 8, 9 turnovers in a game, but Trae isn't getting 8, 9 turnovers every game. He's getting 4 or 5, sure. But look at how many times he passes the ball. I just showed you in the first half of this video that Trae Young passed the ball enough times to have 27 assists in this game, and he ended with 12. 15 passes occurred with 0 points generated. Think about what I just said again. Third shot. Who's guarding Najee Marshall? Third shot.
That's a good hands up.
Najee Marshall got the 2 right back for Dallas to pull him to within 1.
You know whose man was that? The Rooks. Fourth shot. Alley-oop to Lively. Why? Because nobody stays on their man. What have I said? And nobody communicates so people can switch. What have I been saying for years now? Zach leaves his man for no reason. Gay sees it, tries to hover. Hover to Marshall, but that leaves Lively wide open. Again, Zach leaves his man. It causes all kind of mishaps.
Post up here. Now AD is doubled.
Yeah, on the bounce.
There it is. There's the lob. Yes, guided home nicely. Dinwiddie read it. Lively read it. And the 2 connect for the first Eli basket tonight.
The problem is the whole NBA knows we're not going to stay with our man. So all you got to do is have a little bit of ball movement. We're not going to do right. We're not going to communicate. We're not going to switch. We're not going to do any of those things properly because it's not being coached. And you can tell. We're just out there. Fifth shot. AD. Hook shot.
Dallas with the turnover. Going to Anthony Davis. And Davis on the face-up hook. And that was smooth.
Unstoppable.
Did Trae Young give up those 2 points? And also, nobody double team. What Muhammad Gay was doing wasn't a double team. What was he doing? Let me play that again.
Dallas with the turnover. Going to Anthony Davis. And Davis on the face-up hook. And that was smooth.
Unstoppable.
If you're going to double team somebody, you double team. You commit. We never do it. I showed y'all that in the last few games of the 2023 season, where in the Minnesota Timberwolves game, we could have double teamed Anthony Edwards twice to not let him get the last 2 shots of that game to win the game. And we didn't do it. We just stood there. Just like that. See, that's coaching. Muhammad Gay was on one of those, by the way. Go back and watch that one. It's very interesting. Anyway, 6th shot. All first quarter. Here's AD again. Anybody guarding AD?
Now he is making his 35th start of this year tonight. So as many starts this year as his first 4 years combined. Obviously Clint Capella and his injury, a big reason why. AD.
Whose fault is that? Where is Okongwu looking? Did Trae Young give up those 2 points though? And again, this is not to say, oh, it's anybody's. This is what has happened. And people keep saying it's Trey's fault. So I have to say, is Trey guarding this person? Who's guarding him? Who's giving up these points? Because if you're so, what's the word, enthralled with saying Trey Young, how many times have I said Trey Young's name? Seventh shot.
And then an easy putback attempt for Okongwu also came up short. And Chile dipped a couple of them. Oh, here's a spin move by the landlord. Daniel Gafford, nicely done.
A spin move by the who? And stole Al Horford's name, right? Wait, that wasn't his name. Who's the landlord? Well, he used to be a former Hawk. I can't remember. But anyway, Gafford a spin move on Okongwu again, huh? Did Trey Young give up those 2 points? We lost by 2 points. So every 2 points that goes in, we have to look at it. We have to itemize it, right? Trey Young has given up a 3 because of that turnover. By the way, when I do these reviews, I didn't say that. I actually encapsulate who gives up what points. And at the end, I tell you how many points every player gave up on the Hawks to see who gave up the most points. That's the easiest way to do it. I can't change what happens on the court. Some people want you to, but I don't, because I can only go through what actually happened in the game. Trey Young hasn't given up the most points in this game so far. Eighth shot. Christie hits a 3 on Barlow because Barlow didn't move up after Vic got picked. Sounds familiar? Doesn't that sound familiar?
Either the guards get fouled and go to the line, or they set up the bigs who get fouled. Christie, Drano.
Got him a couple free throws.
Ninth shot. So how many reviews have I shown? Several. In several, how many times have I said that the Hawks don't talk on defense? All of them. That's coaching again. This is one aspect that will prevent the Hawks from losing half of the 20 games that they lost this year by 7 points or less. So again, who's supposed to be on Gafford? Is Trey Young really supposed to be on Gafford? Is man? Who then? Trey was on Christie. Gafford sets a fake screen, by the way. Christie rolls. Trey goes to stay on him, runs into man. I don't know who man was guarding at this point. Christie pops back to the corner. Trey sees that, goes towards him. Meanwhile, Gafford is setting a screen on Barlow. Man comes up now. Gafford slips and gets a dunk. Now, on this one, I'm giving to the entire team because they all failed to just do one simple thing, talk. Where's the coaching, though? Watch this. I'm going to play this twice.
Jinx Alvin Robinson anymore.
No.
He's not playing, so.
Here's Daniel Gafford. Big to big, high low.
Yeah, I love that.
That old Mark acquired. Jinx Alvin Robinson anymore.
No.
He's not playing, so.
Here's Daniel Gafford. Big to big, high low.
Yeah, I love that.
That old Mark acquired.
That's pure coaching, folks. We don't have it. 10th shot, broken fast break. Nobody stays with man. Nobody calls out to pick up a man. Nobody stops the ball. AD gets a reverse dunk. I'm giving this to Mo G because he let AD get behind him.
Fourth board to go with 9 points. Loose ball picked up by Caleb Martin, and he bumps off defenders and a reverse jam by Davis.
Fortunately for some of y'all, that had nothing to do with Trey Young either. First shot, second quarter. Karras leaves his man, Caleb. Caleb gets a wide open 3. Blame this on Trey.
What has this chance been like for you to get that opportunity and perform the way you have with the Mavs?
I mean, it's a dream come true. I mean, unfortunately, good pass. Knock that down, Caleb. Unfortunately, it's
Let me play that again. Watch where Karras is at when that shot gets hit, but Caleb was his man. You explain to me why this is Trey Young's fault.
What has this chance been like for you to get that opportunity and perform the way you have with the Mavs?
I mean, it's a dream come true. I mean, unfortunately, good pass. Knock that down, Caleb. Unfortunately, it's
I got to play it one more time. Explain to me how this is Trey Young's fault.
What has this chance been like for you to get that opportunity and perform the way you have with the Mavs?
I mean, it's a dream come true. I mean, unfortunately, good pass. Knock that down, Caleb. Unfortunately, it's
That shot is not possible if Karras stays with Caleb the whole possession. Karras is on the other side of the box when Caleb hits that shot. What was he doing? Who was he playing? He wasn't playing anybody. Second shot, second quarter. Now, this is on Trey. This is a three-pointer definitely on Trae Young, for sure.
What the lineups look like, Kyrie in, Kyrie out, AD in, AD out, it doesn't really matter. We're going to come out here and play hard. Knock it down, Clay.
Boom!
That's a cut. Trey got lost, gives up a three. How many times have I mentioned Trae Young so far? Interesting, right? But that's on Trey. Did you hear me say that wasn't on Trey? And see, this is why people don't want to watch my reviews, because they know that I'm doing this. I'm talking about the whole entire team. I don't just talk about one player. If you give up a shot, you do something bad, I'm going to talk about it. People make claims that I don't say stuff, and I'm like, well, you don't watch my reviews. You simply don't. You can't. You can't have watched any of my reviews, because at the end of the review, I'm going to see who gave up the most points. And if it happens to be Trey, guess what? Trey gave up the most points. Unfortunately, it's never Trey, though. Someone else always gives up more points than Trae Young. Somehow it just keeps happening. Don't know how. Third shot, second quarter. Dinwiddie gets a screen from Lively that got ZR off of him, and he hits the shot on Okongwu.
I always model my game after him. Ever since I was little, I put Kyrie on that pedestal with Kobe Bryant in terms of my favorite players individually. That's tough. Just in terms of like his mindset.
Fourth shot, Dinwiddie again, dribble drives on Zach.
You know, when we've been around you, your personality really stands out. And I've been telling people, man, this Brandon Williams dude, he's a lovely guy. I saw on Mad.
Explain to me how that's Trey's fault again. Fifth shot, coaching matters. We have no discipline. Why is Niang under the goal? Dinwiddie has the ball. Why isn't Dyson on Clay? Dinwiddie turns and jump passes to a wide open Marshall. Since Niang has left his man, both Zach and Dyson try to cover, but this is because nobody communicates. Dyson gets to Marshall, Zach to Clay. Since Niang isn't guarding anybody, Gafford, Dinwiddie, and Christie have a 3-on-2 on the other side of the court. Nobody is talking, so Christie glides to the top, Dinwiddie to the corner three. Marshall drives. Trey is sitting for a pass to Dinwiddie, but doesn't see Christie move to the top of the key. Neither did Zach. Christie hits the three. So I'm giving this to the entire team simply because they won't talk. They just won't do it. Here we go.
Speaking of passing, there's Dinwiddie passing to Marshall, who kicks it out to Christie. Nice bounce for Max.
He gets a lot of touch.
I'm going to play it again. Watch Niang. Watch all the movement subsequently.
Speaking of passing, there's Dinwiddie passing to Marshall, who kicks it out to Christie. Nice bounce for Max.
He gets a lot of touch.
Ridiculous. Sixth shot. Vitt allows a wide open three to Hardy.
He's a good-looking young player.
An unorthodox basket, but 2 on the board for Risa Shea, and then 3 on the board at the other end for Jaden Hardy.
Did that get hit on Trae Young or Vitt? Interesting, right? Seventh play. I want you to look at this play first and tell me what kind of defense is being played.
Gafford sets an early screen. Some help from Niang. Dinwiddie, the decision, and a good one. The lead for Gafford in the paint. Hart.
What was Niang doing? Niang has Gafford, but Vitt again is leaving his man wide open. O has Caleb for some reason. Niang is out there waving his hands at one point. This is on Niang. Let me play it again. Watch Niang.
Gafford sets an early screen. Some help from Niang. Dinwiddie, the decision, and a good one. The lead for Gafford in the paint. Hart.
Another 2 points. We lost by 2 points. Trey wasn't even on the floor on that one. Anyway, eighth shot. Nobody blocks out. Gafford gets a tip-in layup. Okongwu is there. He's on Gafford until he left him. Zach was defending his man. He contested the shot, but Okongwu just stay on your man.
His he on your list of great names?
He is. He's in the top 10, my friends.
It's fantastic.
Risa Shea and Okongwu are, I believe, 9th and 10th on my list, as a matter of fact. Max Christie going last, guided home by Gafford.
See, for some reason, it's like our team is playing football and it's like read and react. This is not football. It's the NBA. You got to stay with your man. I don't get it. Nice shot. Hardy beats Niang on a fast break, basically.
539 as of tonight.
I had a chance
He said,
to talk.
I love that. He said, I love it.
I had a chance to talk to him too.
Yeah.
And you know what I told him.
Take the night off.
Take the night off.
10th shot. How many times have I said pointing is not defense? Let's see who this is real quick. All right. Pointing is not defense. You got to talk. We don't stay with assignments, right? You have to communicate. This is on Karras. Another shot by Karras given up. He allowed Clay to be open by not going with him and then not calling the Yang to pick him up. Watch this. I'm going to play this one twice as well.
It makes this a 7-point advantage for the Hawks. Kai Jones came in just a bit ago. And here comes Anthony Davis back to the bench. Play a 3-ball.
Karras is the reason. If you want to blame a player, if you want to blame a singular player, Karras. Because that's the second time he left a man wide open, didn't do anything. Right? Anyway. 12th shot. Coaching. We have no discipline. We don't stay with assignments. Watch. All they had to do is call it out so both Okongwu and Niang are not running after Marshall, leaving Jones, who was assigned to O. But I'm giving these to O. Watch this one. 12th shot. Second quarter, I think.
Straight on.
Skip pass there by Dinwiddie. Marshall slings it to Kai Jones, who drops the hammer on the Hawks.
But y'all want to blame Trae Young for that, though, somehow. That's silly to me. It's silly. 13th shot. Again, stay with your man. This is very simple. Davis hits an easy shot because Okongwu wanted to pay attention to Dinwiddie, knowing we don't know how to switch as a team. So why pay attention to, anyway.
Back screen Davis.
Nice
Dinwiddie a probe to the rolling Anthony Davis, and pillow soft touch leads to a hoop for the Mavs.
Beautiful setup that time by Dinwiddie.
But again, as bad as that was, we were still leading at halftime, guys. And we lost this game by 2 points. So let's get into the third quarter. Now, this was on Trae. He gives up a pull-up 3 to Dinwiddie. This is bad. Did you hear? Okay, let me see. Let me review that. Let's do a Willy Wonka. Stop. Reverse that. Did you hear me say the words bad and Trae Young at the same time? Trae Young gives up a pull-up 3 by Dinwiddie. This is bad. I said that, right? So don't continue to try to say how I don't call out Trae when he does bad. It's just that I'm not going to keep saying it 365 days a year, 24 hours a day, however many seconds there are in a day, when it's not Trae Young all the time. And he's not the reason we lose games. He just isn't. There's sometimes he might be more of a reason, but it's not the majority of the time. So why concentrate as if he is? Because that's just a lie. It's falsehood. It's a fib. It's incorrect. Why? Because Trae Young is not giving us Kurt Heinrich numbers. That's the only reason. That's the only way you can actually say that. Mike Bibby, if he was giving us 10 points and 3 assists a game, you'd have an argument of some sort. I don't know what it would be, but it would be an argument. At least it'd be more of an argument than right now, as he's averaging 24 and 12, 25 and 10 for his career. Only LeBron James and James Harden are ahead of him in 30-10 games in NBA history. Yeah, you can't really go that route. But leaving 40 points on the board from missed shots generated from Trae Young, that's much more of a reason than this 3-pointer I'm about to show you that he gave up in this game. Watch this.
So right now that basket for Lively, that putback dunk off the air ball is counted, but it's something that can be reviewed as that's a made three for Spencer Dinwiddie.
Now, if you can recall, how many times have I mentioned Trae Young's name and giving up a bucket, as opposed to the rest of the team? And if that is more than the times I've named Trae Young, how are you saying that Trae Young is the reason we lost this game by 2 points rather than everything else that I mentioned so far? Second shot, AD again. Who's guarding AD? Was it Trae Young?
They're not strung together defensively right now, and they're stagnant on offense.
Well, defensively, they're getting broken down on pick and roll situations and giving up some easy buckets.
Did you hear the commentators for the Dallas Mavericks? Pick and roll, giving up easy buckets because we can't play the pick and roll because we ain't being coached to. Oh, by the way, third shot, AD
11
again.
seconds on the shot clock. Kongwu defending. Davis in isolation. One dribble and the step back is on the money.
That's unguardable.
Really?
Live ball. I mean, you can do whatever you want to do.
You can do whatever you want. It's unguardable. And not one time did we double him. Not one time. That's Trae Young's fault, though. Trae Young's supposed to stop Anthony Davis, huh? The fourth shot of the game is not on video. They actually have a duplicate video of another shot that he hit. But AD is the one who hit the shot, so I will assume it's O on this one again because nobody else is guarding him and nobody's double teaming him. But AD hits a shot on the fourth shot. Fifth shot of the third quarter. Again, nobody calls out defense. AD gets another alley-oop. O could have said for someone to pick up his man so he could get back to AD. What have I said on my Sunday night basketball videos? If I was to get picked, okay, my man picks up my man. And if the other team doesn't immediately try to take advantage of that at that point in time, you know what we do? We switch back. Our team never switches like that. On the Atlanta Hawks, our big always floats to the paint rather than picking up the man that has the ball. So that way nobody is left open for an alley-oop. Pick and roll. Anyway. Vince standing there doesn't do anything. He could have tried to foul. Pointing is not defense. Nobody on the bench does anything. No adjustments made. Again, on this one, I give it to the whole team because we simply don't talk.
Anthony Davis, the outlet pass. So Dinwiddie, 12 points, 10 assists. Davis leading the way with 21. Those are the two notable performances statistically in this game for Dallas. Here's Anthony Davis running the floor. That was really well executed.
Somebody should get fired just for that, but nobody will. Landry says, Snyder's doing a great job. We just got eliminated. He's doing a great job? What's our record? He's doing a great job. That's what Landry, with full force in his chest, said, I'm not firing Landry. He's doing a wonderful, great job. Terrific job, I think he actually said. He's doing a terrific job. That's the words he used. The general manager of the Atlanta Hawks said Snyder is doing a terrific job. I'll let y'all think on that a little bit. Sixth shot, third quarter. Hardy goes to the bucket on Dyson. Not Trae Young, Dyson Daniels.
Word up. Good knee bend.
Shea had 36 on Sunday in a win against Milwaukee. Putting it down, Jaden Hardy. Hello, Wenda.
Tough finish that time.
We still had the lead, too, by the way. But why am I being so demonstrative by using everybody else's names? Because a lie of omission is still an omission. Until you start using the other names of the players that contribute to these losses of the Hawks, instead of just trying to say Trae Young, I'm going to keep doing these reviews. Because I'm going to prove it to you, it ain't Trae Young alone. Trae Young has some contributing factors, but nowhere near to where you can blame him for a loss. It just ain't possible. I'm sorry, you can't do it. By the way, you just said Shea had 36, right? Let's go back up to the top. Back to the top. In this game, he was 4 of 11 for 9 points. I'm sorry, that's a fact. It can't be ignored. In fact, let's segue real quick. Let's do this real quick. Because I just don't think a lot of y'all, like, I don't know what y'all are doing. But here's what, going back into the fact that Trae Young leads the league in 21 potential assists or more a game and has been 6th or higher in the NBA since he's been in the league. Okay. The month of April, 9 points, 9 points, 12 points, 16 points, 8 points, 38 points, 12 points, 6 points, 7 points, 3 points. Those are the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games by Reese or Shaq, our rookie, who should be rookie of the year. Those are his last 10 games. 9, 9, and 12. We lost all 3 of those games. He had 16. We won that game. Then he had 8. We lost that game by 7 against the Orlando Magic. We needed that game. He had 8 points in that game. Then he had 38. Then he had 12. He had 6. We won both of those games. Then he had 7, again against Orlando, and then 3. His last 2 games of the season was 7 points and 3 points. We can't win like that when he's one of our primary scorers on our floor. Can we? Is that consistent to anybody? That's just one player, guys. That's just one player on our team. Here's another one. Let's do this. Because y'all need to hear this out loud. I'm sorry, but you got to. The month of April, 0, 11, 6, 8, 6, 5, 10, 3, 12, 3. Those are the last handful of games for Muhammad Gay for the season. 6, 11, 6, 8, 6, 5, 10, 3, 12, 3. Okay? You need to hear this. Now, Dyson has been pretty steady for the most part, right? 22, 17, 12, 19, 15, 10, 8, 7, 11, though. Last 4 games. He has 7 in the Orlando loss and then 11 in the Miami loss. Right? Here's Niang. Again, y'all got to hear these things. 3, 6, 13, 6, 9, 11, 16, 15, and 20. 20 points ain't bad, that Miami loss, but that fourth quarter, 1 for 5, 0 2 from 3, we shouldn't even have went to overtime, right? But 3, 6, and 13, that was 5 of 16 game. Those are 3 losses in a row. That Knicks game, he was 5 of 16 in that Knicks game, guys. Here's LeVert. And again, this ain't pointing fault. This is just facts. Now, LeVert has been pretty steady. April, 10 points, 14, 14, 21, 13, 4, 31, but then 7 in the Orlando game, and then 15 in the Miami loss. Right? Let's do a Kongu. Kongu's another player that's been pretty steady this season since getting the start in 9, right? 12, 26, 27, 30, 14, 4, 11, and then 28. Right? The 11 in the Orlando loss, not great, but 28 in the Miami loss, yeah, he was there. He was one of 2 starters in the Miami game to score 20 or more. Right? Uh-oh, something's going on with my signal. Now, let's look at the last player that I'm going to mention here. Uh-oh, what's going on with my computer? Because you need to hear this. 29 and 15, 25 and 12, 16 and 9, 23 and 15, 38 and 10, 24 and 12, 36 and 11, 28 and 6, 29 and 11. In April, he averaged 26 and 12 in the month of April, but it's Trey's fault with all of what I just mentioned as far as players, what they did per game for the month of April. Not even all the players. So you just needed to hear that out loud again. I had to do that. Let's get back into this Dallas review. I'm in the third quarter, right? First quarter, third quarter, what shot? Here we go. 6 shot, third quarter.
Word up. Good knee bend.
Risa Shea had 36 on Sunday in a win against Milwaukee. Putting it down, Jaden Hardy. Hello, Wenda.
Finish that time.
Okay, actually, I just played that one. So we're on a 7 shot. Again, nobody blocks out. AD gets another layup. By the way, again, he had 34 points in this game. Nobody double teamed him. O was right there, though.
Baseline drive, Caleb Martin, Anthony Davis, offensive rebound. 2 more on the board for AD.
Yeah, you keep it alive, he should be the one to come out with it.
Y'all going to stare at me and tell me that was great effort? Actually, you can play that again. I just heard something I missed before. Let me see. Is that the 7th? Yeah.
Baseline drive, Caleb Martin, Anthony Davis, offensive rebound. 2 more on the board for AD.
Yeah, you keep it alive, he should be the one to come out with it.
A shot. We don't know how to switch. We don't know how to rotate. Karras picks up Gafford, then lets him go. Karras could have just switched with Barlow to stay with Hardy. None of that happened.
I am yelling.
That's right.
He's being emphatic.
No,
with
I hear
his-
you. I feel your pain. I'm thinking just like you're thinking.
Gafford bowling and upstairs to finish powerfully.
Yeah.
Daniel Gafford.
You still have the lead somehow. But Karras, again, leaves a man wide open. Sorry. It's a fact. Nice shot. Hardy hits a step back 3 on Barlow. Not Trae Young, but on Barlow.
Mismatch.
Jaden Hardy over Barlow. They go in front. They savor the flavor of the lead.
Fast break. I give these to Trae. Even though I could have given it to somebody else, I'm giving it to Trae just to make y'all happy. So this is a fast break. Trae and Niang are back. Christie gets past Trae. Niang is there. Offers no resistance. Again, I'll give these to Trae to make y'all happy. Some of y'all happy.
Dallas 89, Atlanta 88. Niang is free for 3. No. And Gafford, bigger and badder than anyone else to grab that rebound. Here's Max Christie. It's in there. Foul 2.
11 shot. Karras gives up a turnaround jumper from Martin.
And here's Martin on the attack in the paint. Yes, sir. Okay, Caleb Martin.
12 shot. AD again.
And getting called for a foul.
Anthony Davis. Gafford screening. Davis shooting. Yes, sir.
That was good defense by O. Someone's going to say that out loud? Stop lying. 13. Hardy hits a 3 on Vic.
There's Davis to screen. Hardy on the bounce with 8. With 6. Hardy against Krejci, who just hit a 3. Hardy returns the favor.
Y'all serious? Was that on trade too? Here's the fourth quarter. Now here's where it gets really, really interesting. Okay. Man was on Clay. Gets picked by Lively. Zach doesn't switch. And so he gives up that 3. Watch this now. First shot. Fourth quarter.
Lively screens. It's a good one for Klay Thompson. Got him open, and he made him pay.
I'm going to show you all this again. Watch careful.
Lively screens. It's a good one for Klay Thompson. Got him open, and he made him pay.
Zach literally just stood there. Second shot. Trey with a turnover. We did have people back this time. Okongwu was there. He turned his back to AD. He had beaten AD down the court, though. Then he stopped. Man was back. Trey stopped the ball. Man could have gotten in front of Lively. I don't know what Vic was doing, but because it was a Trey turnover, I'm going to give this to Trey. But watch, though.
Really turned things around.
And that one deflected off Caleb Martin. That was kind of bizarre. Here's Lively running the floor. There's AD. Hammers it home.
Nobody stops the ball. Until that time, Trey did. But nobody calls out assignments. Nobody ever calls out assignments. If you get your man beat down the court, you got to call that out and say, hey, pick up my man, I got yours. And the Hawks never do that. That's why we give up the points on the fast break points that we give up every game. That's another reason why we lose games. Third shot. O leaves Anthony Davis again. Ask you why. Why?
Deadline acquisitions of Martin and Davis have played their best games as Mavericks tonight. Davis, okay! Reaching high to the sky to grab it and finish it.
Give me the reason that Okongwu left his man. I'm going to play this again, but give me the exact basketball reason why Okongwu couldn't stay with Anthony Davis.
Deadline acquisitions of Martin and Davis have played their best games as Mavericks tonight. Davis, okay! Reaching high to the sky to grab it and finish it.
Zach was the help defender. That's why Okongwu didn't need to leave Anthony Davis. See, since we don't coach no basketball on defense, fourth shot. Dinwiddie. Who does he hit this shot on?
Marshall slings it out to Dinwiddie. Can he do something against Daniels? Late clock. Hello, Wenda.
Wasn't Trae Young, was it? And Okongwu, he came out the paint like he was going to double team, but didn't double team nobody. He just came out the paint, right? Fifth shot. Marshall. Who does he hit this shot on?
Dinwiddie screening. Marshall going to have to get on with it. They got the switch. He's got the tough defender Daniels on him, but it doesn't stop the knife.
Well, the knife is good in that area right there.
And remind you, this is the fourth quarter, isn't it? Interesting, right? Sixth shot. Clay hits a shot. Who allows this to happen?
Or is it Clay time? Thompson driving. Marshall driving. Leaves it for Clay under the defense. He nails it. It's a
seventh shot of the fourth quarter. Hawks have a 3-point lead now with 49 seconds left. Okay. Clay has the ball. Trey is with him. AD sets a pick on Trey. And instead of coming up again, O just stands there and lets a Hall of Fame player hit a three and ties the game.
AD. Okongwu defending. A handoff to Clay. It's good. It's tied.
That's on Okongwu. That's on nobody else but Okongwu. And he does it all the time. And Clint is even worse at it. And Okongwu really doesn't have an excuse because he's quicker than Clint. It's coaching. We don't have a big man coach to say, hey, you need to come up. You have to defend that ball handler now because he's going to shoot it. And we always is laid back. I could never get, if I did this on the court, I wouldn't get picked up anymore. But guess what? We're still in it. Till now. Eighth shot. Game on the line. This is the eighth shot of the game for the Dallas Mavericks. Anthony Davis has 32 points. He's never been doubled in this entire game. I'm going to say that again. Repeat it. Anthony Davis was never double teamed in this game. That's coaching. That's why Snyder should be gone. Because no matter what else happened in this game, you never let the person who's been hurting you all game have a chance to win the game. And we let it happen all the time. That's why we lose so many games by 7 points or less. Coaching. Anyway, we let him get the inbounds. Oh, by the way, in this particular play, Trae Young is not even on the floor. So again, I want someone to tell me how Trae Young lost the game here.
Thompson, Davis, Martin, and Hardy are the targets for Dinwiddie. And it goes into Davis. And it's Anthony Davis driving. It's in there! 3.4 to go. It's not a walk-off yet, but it's a 2-point lead.
So, did we double team him? Did we stop him from getting the ball? Did we let the best player on the other team get the ball and win the game? And who gave up the points again? Was it Trae Young? Trae Young wasn't on the floor. So explain to me again how Trae Young and Trae Young alone lost this game when he had 29-11, contributed 50-plus points in this game, and had 15 of his passes amount for 0 points. We left 40 points on the floor from shots generated from Trae Young, from wide open shots and layups and threes and twos. But it's Trae Young's fault, and I just watched Anthony Davis get his 34th point on a layup. So who gave up the most points in this game? You want to start from the lowest to the highest? Niang gave up 4 points in this game. Well, my bad. Gay gave up 2 points. Niang gave up 4. Vic gave up 6. Dyson gave up 9. Richard Shea gave up 9. Karras gave up 12. Trey gave up 13. And Okongwu gave up 35 points in this game. Almost all of them to AD. So who gave up the most points? Is 13 more than 35? I don't think it is. My math, do I need to get my calculator out for that one? I don't think so. So what's the point of all this? In this particular game review against the Dallas Mavericks, I've shown you that Trae Young didn't give up the most points in this game. I showed you that he contributed 50-plus points in this game, which he's a league leader in doing, by the way, points generated off of assists and points, clutch assists, clutch points, assists per game, total assists, potential assists per. He's a league leader in all of those, right? I showed you that the Hawks left 40 points on the board from 15 passes from Trae. Wide open shots, all of them. Layups, missed. 3-pointers, wide open, missed. I showed y'all the videos of the shots. First quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. And then just to reiterate, in the fourth quarter alone, we left 11 points on the board. We lost this game by 2. In the third quarter, we left 13 points on the board. Trae kept passing the ball. 1, 2, 3, 3 3-pointers and 2 layups. Missed in the third quarter. In the second quarter, 3 more threes missed. 13 points total. All passes from Trae, and Trae kept passing it. Niang got the ball 3 times from Trae, missed all of his shots. Okongwu got a shot, missed it. Daniels had a wide open 3, missed it. In the third quarter, Muhammad Gay got 3 shots from Trae. Ricochet got a shot. Barlow got a shot. In the fourth quarter, Vic, Gay, Okongwu, and LeVert all had wide open shots, and they all missed them all. But Trae Young is blamed for a 2-point loss. What else did I show you in today's video? At the very beginning, I showed you the Miami Heat overtime where they scored 17 points, and Trae Young didn't give up all 17 points in overtime. Did he? No, he did give up that last 3-point shot, but there were several 3-point shots before that Trae Young didn't give up. Wiggins had a layup that Trae Young didn't give up. Dyson Daniels gave up, let's see, let me try to find them real quick. Dyson gave up 2 of those 3, actually gave up 3 of those threes. Kongu gave up 1 of those threes. Kongu gave up the layup to Wiggins. That's 14 points. Trae Young didn't give up 14 points in overtime. You would have an argument that Trae Young lost the game if he had gave up all 14 points in overtime. You'd have an easy argument then. But the talk of the town, the chatter, y'all people made it seem that Trae Young lost that game. And that's nowhere near true. It was 120 to What was the final score? Let's go and watch that. Let's go and watch it. I'm gonna show that one to y'all real quick just to see the score.
To crush the Hawks. Hero ball fake. Shot clock winding down. Mitchell, jumper. Oh, yeah!
It was 120 to 114 at that point. But here's what happened prior to that shot. I'm gonna go backwards now. Watch.
So many momentum changes.
117 to 114. Miami. Hero on target. Both teams making big time shots.
Dyson left Hero.
Here's Wiggins picked up by Okongwu. 8 to shoot. Wiggins wants to dance. The floater is good. Miami pulling away.
Okongwu gets the floater over Okongwu.
To the big Okongwu. 7 to shoot. Hero. Mitchell. Again. Davion Mitchell is lethal.
Dyson leaves Mitchell for a 3.
Davion Mitchell, formerly of the Sacramento Kings and Toronto Raptors, lines it up. He hits a 3.
Okongwu didn't come up to play his man. He's just sitting in the paint, not guarding nobody. He gave up that 3 after Trey got picked.
Mitchell using the Adebayo screen. Kicks it out. Highsmith for Hero. Bottom. It's a 3.
Dyson left Tyler Hero for no reason. That was the first 3 hit in overtime. Not by Trae Young, by Dyson Daniels, our best defender. That's how a team scores 17 points in overtime and eliminates you. I showed y'all that. I can't change what actually happened in the game. I can only show you what happens in the game. Oh, and by the way, in this particular game, Trey was 4-6 in the fourth quarter, 2-3 from 3, and it was 2-2 in overtime. There was only 2 Hawks that scored in overtime. That was Trey and Okongwu. Okongwu hit a 3. Trey hit a couple of shots. What if we just stop some of those other 3s? So, all that being said, I will continue my game reviews for the rest of the season. I will say the next game review will come soon. Let me see what the schedule says. The next game will be the Orlando Magic game on. No. I'm going in order. My bad. My fault. Dallas. So the next game is going to be against the Trailblazers, which we lost 127 to 113 in Atlanta. That's not right. I'm going backwards. I got to go forward. So who do we play after the Mavericks? My fault, y'all. April 5th against the New York Knicks. So we lost that game in Atlanta still, 121 to 105 in that game. Let's see. Zach had 12. Muhammad had 6. Kongu had 6. Trey had 16. What did the Knicks do? OG had 24. Hart had 16. Cat had 30. Bridges had 20. DeLon Wright had 10. So we're going to see how we lost that game. But if you watch this whole review, again, you explain to me how Trae Young lost the Dallas game. Explain to me how he himself lost the Miami game by himself. Explain it. Because I just showed you how it happened. And there's no way in the world you can say that Trae Young lost either of these games. You can't say it. Not with a straight face. You can say it just because you hate Trae, but you can't say it basketball-wise. Because I showed you basketball-wise how we lost this Dallas Mavericks game. It wasn't even the 35 points that Okongwu gave up on the technical side. You see what I'm saying? We can point to that. That's a primary reason, but it wasn't the only reason. Fast break points that we gave up, right? The 3-pointers that we gave up as a team. Like, look, here's who gave up the most 3-pointers in this particular game. Let me go back to it. 1, 2. Kongu gave up 3. Trey gave up 3. Karras gave up 2. Vic gave up 2. So everybody, Barlow gave up 2. Barlow barely played. He gave up 2 threes, right? But Trey only gave up 13 points for the whole game, though, while scoring 29 and 11, generating 50-plus points in this game, right? Sure you want to blame Trey on this? Sure. Because Okongwu not being able to stop AD in any kind of a way goes a whole lot more to losing this game. And besides all that, we were leading the game almost throughout the whole time, though. We kept getting the lead back. We were tied at the very end. And instead of just double teaming AD and forcing someone else to take a shot, somebody else might have still hit a shot. Caleb could have hit a shot, right? Klay Thompson, Hall of Famer, could have. Oh, he actually hit the shot to tie the game, though, didn't he? Who was on Klay at the time then? I showed you. Do you want me to show it to you again? I can. Let's do that, just so you don't get confused.
AD. Okongwu defending. A handoff to Klay. It's good. It's tied.
Okongwu just act like Klay and a Hall of Famer. You got to come up. They know we won't come up, though. They know that's not how we're trained. So if you set a pick, you set a screen of any kind, the other player isn't going to come up, and they're going to let you hit that shot. If you can hit it, they're going to pretend like you can't hit no shot. And it's happened all season. It happened in that San Antonio game as well. Larry Nance Jr. didn't think CP3 could hit a 3 all of a sudden, and he didn't come up. He let him hit that 3. That San Antonio game that we lost in overtime should never have went to overtime. And then look who hit the first 3 in overtime, Wemby. Like he can't hit the 3. But anyway, besides all that, 35 points given up in the game is the most any player since I've been doing these reviews has given up, even more than Clint. Okay? And we didn't double team Anthony Davis not one time. He was the one player hurting us, and we just said, we'll just let you keep scoring, AD. We don't think you really. Trae Young isn't a center. He's not a power forward. We got to get those guys to be able to do more on a regular basis. That's all. I don't think I'm asking that much, am I? Now, of course, in that Miami Heat game, Okongwu came up big, right? We just didn't get no help from anybody else in the starting lineup. It was just Trae and Okongwu. If not for Trae and Okongwu, we get blown out in that game, right? So again, these are how my reviews go. Hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully you enjoyed my breakdown at the very beginning of even why I do reviews and how I do reviews. And again, I just point to the fact that the only reason I'm doing them is to show there's other people on the team. I just don't think people watch games. They can't, because I watch a game. I'm like, there's 4 other people in the starting lineup. There's 6, 7 people on the bench that played in this game too. There's contributing factors all around in a loss. It can't be just one person. And if you point to one person, you got to prove that one person alone is the primary reason they lost the game. You got to prove it. You can't just say it and just hope it sticks. That's bad journalism. I have a whole show about bad journalism as well on Around the ATL. So before I go, again, subscribe to the IMTN Worldwide Radio YouTube page. For the next show, we have a draft show coming up for the Falcons. And if you haven't watched the Leah Edmond interview from the Atlanta Vibe, the first MVP of the Pro Volleyball Federation, you need to check that out if you support other Atlanta sports. But Leah is really nice. She did a great job breaking down volleyball for me, for the audience as well, and answered a lot of good questions. So check that interview out. We have some baseball interviews hopefully coming up soon. And I won't tell you, I'll tell you who I'm trying to get. Craig Kimbrell, formerly of the Atlanta Braves, plays for the Columbus Cleanstones currently. I'm trying to get him on the show. And we're going to have some Falcons hopefully this summer. Hopefully before the summer. We'll see what happens, but definitely during the summer, we hope to have some Falcons football interviews. But John Robinson is the one that I'm trying to get for sure. So that being said, I'm going to get off of here for now. This has been Around the ATL Side Notes, Dallas versus Hawks, and also Miami versus Atlanta in OT from the play-in tournament. And at another time, the next time you'll see me, I will talk about what the Hawks might be able to do for the future. I've mentioned it on Twitter before. If you want to follow there, Intellect ATL is my main Twitter, where I talk a lot of sports as well. And go and check that out. Well, hopefully y'all enjoy this. Those who are able to watch this eventually sometime today. I know it's a holiday, but this is the only time I was able to do this particular review. So hopefully everybody who does get to watch, enjoy it. Hopefully you like video rather than just seeing text. But again, the Atlanta Hawks need to do a better job of building an organization. All the other teams in the NBA do a really good job of building around their best players. The Atlanta Hawks have not done it for 60 years. We watched Dominique not get no help for 12 seasons, right? We watched the 60-win team get to the Eastern Conference Finals, and they don't follow it up with no moves to do better. We watched them get swept in the Eastern Conference Finals and then swept again out the playoffs the very next season. We watched this Atlanta Hawks team in the past, the near past future, get to the Eastern Conference Finals with Trae Young, and they did nothing to get better. And we've gone backwards ever since. It's just not good enough to just have people. You need to have pieces that fit. It has to happen. That's why Dame had to leave Portland. You see what I'm saying? Because they refused to do anything for Dame out there. Got to do it. All the other teams do it. Steve Nash got to go to the Phoenix Suns. They had a pre-built team for him. They only won 29 games with all that talent, only won 29 games. He shows up, they win 60. Why? Because they got the one piece that they were missing, a facilitator. Trae is the best facilitator of our time, and we can't get enough shooters around Trae Young. We can't get enough bigs that can finish at the basket all the time. All the time. We can't do it. We won't do it. Now, Okongwu has come up and proved that he can do it to an extent, but his size is still a detriment. So when are we going to at least get some size to coincide with Okongwu and his ability to hit a shot, hit some free throws? But on defense, he can't stop Anthony Davis, much less a lot of the other bigs that are out there. We got to have something to change up. We're too small. We don't have a backup point guard still after 7 doggone seasons. When Trae comes off the floor, it's anarchy. When are we going to stop that madness? Okay. So next show, I will be a little bit more forthwith in regards to some of my options and choices that I think could help the Hawks going into next season, because we should have made the playoffs this year. I had predicted we would finish 6th or higher, and we were pacing that for a long time. And then again, the injuries occurred again, right? That has to stop somehow. Got to figure it out. But anyway, y'all take care. This has been Around the ATL Side Notes. This is Chris. Y'all have a nice rest of the weekend. Peace. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to the IMTM Worldwide Radio YouTube channel. Peace.
Thank you.